So is Donald Trump going to die? Well, we're all going to die. Is Donald Trump going to die today? Doubtful.
No.
Soon? Maybe.
He's 79 years old, and Alex Jones, one of his preeminent supporters in the new media ecosystem, although Alex Jones is kind of a new media pioneer if you think about it.
He's been 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. New media for 30 years. But one of Donald Trump's preeminent backers is deeply concerned actually about the state of Trump's health because of the images, because in part of the images that continue rolling out of Trump with bruised hands and very swollen ankles. So this would be one. We can roll through some of this. Trump reappeared on Monday after questions had been raised. He reappeared on Monday with the bruises on his hands again. We've seen sort of splotches of foundation rubbed over the bruises at different points too. So sometimes you see the bruising visible, and then sometimes you see the foundation like right there. If you're listening to this, it's exactly what you think it is. You've probably seen the pictures already on your own, but that's what Alex Jones is going to be reacting to here in this clip. And again, Ryan, Trump, 79 years old, probably not surprising to anybody that he might have some health complications. Let's roll Alex Jones B2.
Because you can see him declining faster and faster. It's not super bad yet. I predict Trump is going to have some type of collapse within the next 12 months at the current trajectory. I'm not saying he's going to collapse. I'm saying if he doesn't take his foot off the gas pedal, I guarantee you, and I've got stamina, way better than most people. If I had Trump's job at 51 for a month, I would have a nervous breakdown. I've seen a lot of...
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Tommy Nation Politics.
Hi everybody, Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. Free thinking, innovative, open-minded. Welcome back to Tommy Nation Politics Podcast, where we cut through the noise and are free thinking, innovative, open-minded. We ask simple questions like, how will this end? We're doing something special, teaming up with one of the shock jock conservative hosts, Savage Nation Podcast, Michael Savage, for a no-holds-barred dive into the political theater. So buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride. It always is with Savage. And I think he's on the road as we speak. But in Washington, D.C., they're serving us a pile of hot mess and chaos as usual, playing 4D chess with 2D brains, it seems. Lawmakers grandstanding for clout, pushing policies that sound like they were cooked up in late-night groups at TikTok. Gone wrong. The latest budget talks triggered trillions of dollars tossed around like it's monopoly money. And the rest of us are out here wondering if our groceries are going to be costing more than maybe the rent. The rent is just too damn high, guys. It's easy to focus on one thing, but the country is running, I guess, secure borders, clear language, a culture that doesn't trip over itself with an Alien Nations Act. It seems like a savaged society. And I'm going to talk to Savage right now and get a better understanding on the other side of what, the other side of the aisle, what he thinks about all of this. Savage, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, what's going on, Tommy? I'm on the road, traveling to a production gig in South Carolina, but hey, I'm here. You're talking about the decline of, President Trump. I'm going to be completely honest. I do agree from time to time with, shock personality Alex Jones of InfoWars, but it's expected for him to suffer some type of old age, right? Of maybe skin condition or any of that. I wouldn't go drastically and say he's declining at a rapid rate. I mean, he's very confident in his speech when he has full-blown messages to the American public. So he's not pulling a Biden. He could speak clearly. He's very cognitive in his ability to speak to the American public. So we're not really seeing a rapid decline in President Trump. I will disagree with Alex Jones. Of course, he's trying to hype his audience. I think, what did Alex say? He's going to give him like about another year and a half, 2 years, and it's going to be a demise for him. No, come on, Alex, stop with the the hype and this. I like Alex Jones, but where he's going, it's just ridiculous, Tommy. The
So a couple of
president is in excellent health.
a couple of questions on that. It seems to be, I mean, this is just me looking as a free thinker. He seems to have been making, and correct me if I'm wrong and you disagree, but some erratic decisions as far as the tariffs go, because we all know how the tariffs, in a matter of fact way, we have paid for the tariffs. We pay for the tariffs through markups, right? When we get our products, and the groceries are still not, the cost of living is still too high, the rent is still too high. He says the economy is going great, but the regular American people have seen the poverty rate increase. And so, what do you
Well, I
think?
mean, the guy's only been in office since January. We're in September. Do you expect it to be a 190-degree turnaround in 9 months, Tommy? I mean,
No, but I expect some consistency, and I don't think that I'm getting that with the president. Like take the tariffs for example. Do you think that he's been a consistent leader that has a plan he's implementing it and he's following through with his policies?
sure, sure. Consistency with tariffs, absolutely. We have pulled in. If I'm correct, he actually had a small little brief statement on the tariffs earlier today up in Washington when he was handling this. I think he said it was like roughly around $150 trillion in tariffs since he's taken office. That's tremendous. So the money
It's
is
tremendous for the
coming
federal
into
government,
America.
Michael, but is it tremendous for the American taxpayer? Because at the end of the day, we will be paying for these tariffs with markups. Like I said, the corporations have to amount profit and revenue to grow every quarter, right? So at the end of the day, they're going to create a markup where the prices will increase on goods and services. So is
You
that
just made a good
good
point. You
for
said
us?
every quarter. You said
Yes.
every quarter. So I wouldn't start January as the initial first quarter because obviously he was sworn in around the 20th of January. So we'll go from January 20th to February 20th. That would be 1 month. So if you think about it, February, March, April, that's one quarter, right? Every 3 months, right? May, June, July, that's 2 quarters. Okay. So we're like roughly, if you think about it, if you play your math correctly, we're about 2.5 quarters into his presidency. So I
Right.
don't expect it to make a uh, full blown accuracy within that period. It's going to take some time, to turn it around. I would expect this probably like around maybe January of 2026. You'll see a significant difference when it comes to affecting actual taxpayers. You bring up rent, cost of living. That won't play effect until like probably like the beginning of January of next year. It's going to take a full year because you got to remember, Tommy, we are cleaning up the back end of a failed economy under President Biden. So it will take a full year to do that full turnaround under President Trump.
So when you say the full turnaround of the President Trump, I'm looking at the big beautiful bill and I'm looking at different things that implement within it. These things are going to be massive funding for ICE, which is the Customs Enforcement Agency under the Homeland Security. It's going to be cuts to Medicaid. It's going to be work requirements for SNAP benefits. It's all the policies that he's implemented really have to do with with actually the expansion. And this is what I wanted to talk to you about, Michael, because you are a conservative, and so I find this big beautiful bill to be an antithesis of what a conservative is. It adds $3.3 trillion to the deficit, and it expands the federal government, the Homeland Security Department, the the Customs and Border Agency of the government by $3.4 billion, which is more of a budget than they've gotten in 3 fiscal years. That's a massive expansion of the federal government. Is that a good thing for America?
Well, it depends on how you're labeling it. What else do you find negative about the big beautiful bill in that aspect?
Well, I mean, as a leftist, besides the Medicaid cuts, I kind of like, I have some common ground with you as a conservative. I'm an independent, and I believe in true principles and values as far as the free market is concerned. And as far as the free market is concerned, this is not a free market because it's being manipulated by the federal government, and the government is expanding itself with the whole case. So you remember when George W. Bush was president, right? You remember when he made that agency? He created it. It didn't exist before he came into become president. That was expansion of federal government in itself. I believe in small government, a government that works for all of us and not the few. And this detention and Customs and Enforcement Agency is a law enforcement agency that we as citizens are not needing. We already have a police enforcement agency. We don't need military.
Well, you understand if we continue, if I may, if we continue to roll out wasteful programs. Now, I'm not saying Medicare and generalized welfare, including food stamps, are wasteful. But the waste that's coming in is basically what I call your career welfare recipients, people that are prolonging the system. Because if you think about it, this system, many of these systems, even including standardized food stamps, were designed to be on a small temporary basis. And to where it's at now, we have we are one of the not only the largest countries in the world, but the largest countries in the world that actually has the largest amount of welfare recipients in some of our programs, including food stamps. So you talk about deficit. Where do you think deficit is coming into our national economy? Through the taxpayers that have to fund that. Every time the high cost of food, high cost of everything rises, you see more people going on food stamps because they can't afford the food. That's just common sense with that. So if we can somewhat decrease that, it will help our national deficit to a degree. I mean, wouldn't you agree with that?
Well, my point is, and I agree with you, but my point is that what in the big beautiful bill is helping to support that that analysis. I agree with you. That would be something that to benefit the taxpayers. But ICE funding is not going to benefit me or my groceries.
The problem with that, Tommy, is people
here is not going to help me or my groceries.
The problem with that is people, they don't want to hear that analogy of what I just said. They don't want to hear that, President Trump is going to cut, food stamp recipients. He's gonna cut Medicare and Medicaid. He's cutting
the federal
programs that make it that give the ability to basically not abuse the system, right? More or less. Like, but before President Trump got into office, right? Into layman's terms, we had a system in Medicare and Medicaid to where it would be so easy for anybody just to obtain it, right? Without proper screening. What do you think that does to taxpayers?
And it's $400 million from the government.
Well, it raises your taxes as a
whenever you talk about welfare queens is Elon Musk. He's the biggest welfare queen I've ever seen. You talk about these people that don't deserve to be on food stamps. What about these welfare queens who have billions of dollars in the free market?
I'm not saying nobody deserves to be on food stamps. People deserve a handout from time to time to help them get out of the rut that they're in. But the people that don't deserve to be on it are people that are making it a career. I mean, I've heard of stories of people on food stamps for 10 plus years. That's absurd. You talk about raising taxes. That's why they're raising your taxes, Tommy, and myself too, because of more people going on food stamps and other welfare programs.
We almost
Just
agree,
a
Michael.
small
We
degree
almost
of it.
agree on the welfare queens issue. But why is it that you focus on the people with no money and no power, and you don't focus on Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and the people who are sucking government contracts in the amounts of billions of dollars over the course of 5 years? Like, aren't they the worst kind of parasites instead of the people that are just getting, I don't know, Medicaid? I mean, priorities wise. I mean, you want to talk about the wasting of billions of dollars in government contracts. Why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about Palantir and these surveillance state? Are you familiar with
I don't support any public figure, celebrity, or politician or public government official that does not give back to its community or country. I'm talking about what you just said. You made a good point. The people that are sucking out America, right? Like if they're sucking out America way too much and they're not actually contributing to the system, helping possibly organizations like Wounded Warriors for Veterans and just to name a few, then no, then you're right. Then they are sucking it out. They're not contributing. If you're not contributing to society, whether it's through public donations or any type of public service, no, then I don't support you. You're garbage to me in my eyes.
And viewers, that was sucking out, not sucking off. Sucking off is still fine, guys. Okay, just so you know. I want to direct your attention to the poll. The polls. This just came out on MSN. President Trump speaking at South Lawn celebration. Polling has indicated widespread disapproval of President Trump's performance, with voters expressing frustration over issues such as inflation, economic uncertainty, like I mentioned, and the tariffs, and also the immigration policy, which seems very draconian. We have almost martial law. We have military in the streets of Washington, D.C. Is this an expansion of government that you would find as a conservative disconcerting or comforting?
Well, I could speak on Washington, D.C., because my good friend Sauce was actually up in Washington earlier today, and he had basically put out some videos on X, and like Sauce had said, it is not as bad as it once was some 2-3 weeks ago, prior to President Trump enforcing law in that city with the National Guard, including law, Capitol Police and everything else. That's just a small mob compared to what it once was. So Washington, D.C. is being cleaned up by the president, and I completely support that. He has my 100% support on that as a citizen, as well as any other city that he wants to basically carry out the same thing, including L.A. I believe L.A. is turning
That's not
around.
his jurisdiction. His jurisdiction is not LA. He's the executive of the federal government. Again, small government in scope. If he expands his powers, Michael, you do realize that the next Democratic president is going to do the same. Or are you concerned with that?
If they even bother to, but the track record with
Gavin
Democrats
Newsom will
right
definitely do
now.
that. Gavin Newsom will definitely do leaps and bounds over what Trump. Gavin Newsom,
No,
I guarantee you, he will take
Ga-
whatever Trump does and he will leapfrog that. So beware.
Gavin Newsom right now, it's funny you bring him up. Gavin Newsom right
I think
now
it's gonna be
is
a worse
trying
Trump.
to mimic
It's gonna be a worse Trump.
anything that Trump is doing right now. And it's proven to the American public. You even have Democrats, career Democrats, that are pointing him out to be like a Trump 2.0. He's
Yes.
trying to carry that MAGA mantle, and he
Oh, yeah.
can't.
So
He
that's
can't
what
get
I'm
the
asking
bait
you.
because
That's
people
what I'm
see
asking
through
you.
him.
You got to be careful with this. It's a slippery slope, Michael. If you want the president to execute abilities outside of his jurisdiction, just think about how you would feel if Gavin Newsom was implementing those expansions of federal government. Would you be comfortable
Well,
with
like the
that?
president said, Tommy, like the president said earlier today in a speech, right? He said, as the president of the United States, I do have a obligation to this country to keep people safe. And if your governors and mayors are not willing to do that, under the Constitution, he does have a right to do that as president.
He has a right to do that if invited as president. He actually has he swore an oath to defend the Constitution. and solemnly swear to protect the United States from threats, foreign and domestic. That was his oath. And so his
And
first
what do you
priority is
think
the
that
Constitution.
implies, though,
And what the
Tommy?
Constitution says is that the jurisdiction of California is the governor's prerogative, and the federal government is his. So that's
Right, but what do you think that has to do? What you just said,
and separate the powers. The chaos.
he has a right. That's not abusing his powers. That's not overstepping. But when you have governors and mayors that are not serving their obligations to their citizens and their citizens of the state, then to me, and I'm not afraid to say this, I'll be unfiltered. To me, that's tyranny, Tommy. They should be charged with tyranny because they are putting their citizens in danger. Gavin Newsom just said before Trump put all those National Guardmen and ICE and everything else, local law enforcement, and when he had to federalize that, Gavin Newsom said, we got this. It's not bad.
Right?
It's not bad. Do you know the damage report, Mr. Newsom, that came out of the state of California just alone for Los Angeles County? Almost in the billions in damage.
Billions of
I
damage.
think it was over $1 billion.
What are you referring to? Elaborate on that.
I'm talking about the damage from Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and other domestic national terrorist organizations that literally caused a radical chaos method in Los Angeles.
The anti-fascist organization is a terrorist organization. So when you talk like that, Michael, it makes me want to how I am. When you talk like that, it makes me want to open your pockets and get the receipts out, because that sounds like propaganda.
You know it's true. We could talk about the Summer of Love riots. Tommy, we could talk about the Summer of Love riots that were very similar to the LA riots. There was a lot of Antifa members and Black Lives Matter at both events.
Both were caused by the CIA, by the way. Both were caused by the CIA.
Not CIA, nothing. These were I'm sure probably rogue agents, without a doubt. I'll give you some type of credit towards that. But most of these organizations are run by Soros-funded type of organizations and others around that. You know that. Your audience knows that probably.
Speaking of despicable organizations, I know I have you for just a little bit, so I have to do a rapid round. So I'm sorry if I'm going from thing to thing, but I only have you for so long. So, the Epstein files. You knew this was coming, okay? This is another thing Alex Jones freaked out about. He said, don't fucking shit on my leg and tell me it's raining. Do you want the Epstein files released? Did you ever want the Epstein files released? I recall you talking about groomers at one point. What is your opinion?
Okay. I find that to be very hysterical in a way because,
Really?
for the last 4 years under Joe Biden, Republicans would bring it up from time to time. I do believe in the best interest of our country that America would like to know what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. We deserve to find out what are in these files. And we were saying that for 4 years when Joe Biden was president.
We all know Joe Biden's a fucking low-down dirty crook. And he
Guess what? The Democrats were like, oh, it's not important. It's not important. And then now fast forward 4 years later.
These files, bro. You can't just what about these files.
Well, what's hysterical about it, Tommy, is come 4 years later, now the very same Democrats that didn't care to even lift an inch to even bring it up in the public eye, now they want him released because they tried I'll tell you why. They tried the Russia collusion, that failed. They tried the Mueller reports, that failed. They tried PP tapes, Russian strippers, that all failed.
Okay? You won the election, Michael. Now, what about the files?
You know they're using the files for leverage. They're going to try anything right now to undermine this president, undermine this administration, and try to undermine the midterms because they want to get back in the public arena, the political arena, excuse me. They need that power. They are like
It's going
losing
to happen
their
as long as
head.
we don't release the Epstein files. If that's the only leverage that they have, why not release them?
That's the only thing that they do have right now. They don't have
Well, then
anything else.
release them. Give them no leverage. Give them no quarter. They're losers.
You
Remember?
understand that
Destroy their
to a
leverage.
certain
Release the
degree,
files.
to a certain degree, okay, some of these victims are underage.
That's so funny you bring that up because this article
And you
from
can't
MSN
release information to
talks about
minors that are underage.
Now, this is what caught my eye. These documents, 33,000 Epstein documents, were released after accusers met with lawmakers because the president has been dragging his feet on the release of the Epstein files. It's on my desk, ready to be reviewed, Pam Bondi. There's no files, the memo. Now, News Nation. The government released 33,295 pages of Jeffrey Epstein-related records that it received from the U.S. Department of Justice. That's the DOJ. Today, the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform released these pages, and they're going through it with influencers on TikTok. By the way, are you an influencer from the White House? Do you have some of that sweet fucking White House money, bro? Do you get any of that money from the? Because TikTok influencers on MAGA TikTok influencers are making money. I want some of that money. Give me some of that money.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't believe anything from MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, because you know what, Tommy? That's not accurate information. If you want accurate information, like I tell everybody, even on TikTok or even X Spaces, okay, go to government websites because those are more accurate than your typical spin, leftist or right-wing news.
The liars that lie to the media, and the media writes down the lies and distributes the lies in mass propaganda.
Tommy, did you just hear what I said? Did you just hear what I said? I didn't just mention left wing. I also mentioned right wing. Okay. You're going to get more accurate information from government websites that are more credible.
Michael Savage says we're going to get more accurate information from the government. Guys, that's what y'all heard. Okay. I disagree with that. I think they're liars, and they lie even while breathing. They lie.
Do you understand? The information?
They pathologically lie.
Tommy, the information you're showing on your broadcast.
Write down the lies. That's all they do. The lie is this, and we're going to repeat this. That's what the media does.
Tommy, everything you're showing on your broadcast, where do you think this information comes from?
It comes from liars. I understand that.
Where does it come from?
I have to check sources, and then I have to do my
due
diligence.
The information that Tommy, the writers and contributors of MSN. I think, was it MSN? I can't see it. It's very small.
All White House correspondents listening to the liar press secretary repeat the lies, and they write the lies down, and they publish the lies and fucking.
They're getting it. Yeah, they're getting it from the government. So then, in the media, I don't know if you know this or not. You're in the media, so I don't know. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't know it. But if you don't know it, I'll explain it. Right. In the media, they have what's called a 6-hour window. Okay, every article that every major network gets, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all that, right? There's a 6-hour window. They get it from government sources, okay? And the reason why they say 6-hour window is because the government has up to 6 hours. As soon as something hits the headline, they have up to 6 hours to release that. Okay. So that way, some of the outlets don't have that opportunity to spin it. Now, the government can't control everything that the media does, obviously. They're going to spin it. They're going to twist it. They're going to revert the entire narrative like they've been doing for the course of 50 plus years. And you see that.
Question. Do you think the media just does that organically without the government's assistance or support or push? You
Do
just
what
think they do that
organically?
organically, just out of nowhere. They just manufacture a narrative. You think they do that? Just out of nowhere?
They've been manufacturing narratives for the course of 50 plus years, Tom.
I know. Do you think they do that organically?
Of course they do.
No. They do that
That's
on
how
behalf
they
of
get
the
paid.
government, bro. They do that on behalf of
No,
the government.
when they're manufacturing narratives, they're doing it on purpose. I get what you're saying. They're twisting it so they can make money off their sponsors, because that's what nothing that the media is not your media as it once was from the 80s, 70s, and 60s. They don't deliver the same type of stuff like they used to. Now it's all about,
They
oh,
don't.
we got to get this headline out faster than Fox or Newsmax or News Nation or
Because their
CNN
editor,
or blah 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 blah.
editor knows somebody in a government position, and that's all their sources are. The sources are all liars who lie, and they leak things whenever they want to,
They
so that we
lie
know
to
what they want us to
mainstream
know.
media, but they care about how many sponsors they can obtain in a single month, because that's what it's about.
I
It's
agree.
not about delivering news anymore. Back then, you actually had non-biased news that actually delivered really, really great news that you could be proud to listen to.
They were actually going after Nixon, right? Remember that when they broke Watergate? You think our media would do that again? No, because their laptops are powerful.
I hope not.
You really like the government, don't you? Are you sure you're conservative? Are you
I'm
sure?
not for big government. I'm for small government, because our government was never designed to be enlarged to where it's at now. It was supposed to be small. It was supposed to represent us, to deliver security, freedoms, and liberties. That's it. It was never supposed to be
I love what you're saying, sir. Hallelujah.
corporatized in any aspect.
Hallelujah. But it is, though. That's why, guys, we have to be free thinking, innovative, and open minded. Michael, where are you going to right now? Where are you driving to?
I'm driving to Charleston.
South Carolina?
It's the only Charleston in the country. Yeah.
Hey, I can do the Charleston. So, like, when are you going to come back and have, like, a longer, in-depth discussion?
I stopped by this rest area to get some gas and have a cup of coffee and chat on your show for a little bit. But yeah,
I appreciate you. We should do this more. I like your perspectives.
I got a couple of minutes
gotta
though.
disagree
You
with
don't
the
have to
government.
rush me
I'm going
off
to keep
right
pushing
away.
you, as a friend, I'm going to keep pushing you to not trust the government very much, because they're liars. I believe. And as a
I
good
never
friend,
said I did
I
trust
don't
the
think you should
government.
trust them.
I never
Hey,
said I did trust the government.
I'm just, okay. All right, then.
But
Mission
but
accomplished, like George W. Bush said.
well, hold on, Tommy. Let me put this out there. Okay, it doesn't matter what president is in the office, whether it's a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent, right?
Well, hopefully sooner or later we'll have an independent in there.
Do I trust their words? Yes,
The only
I
way
would
to
have to trust
way
their
out of
words because
politics
they're the president.
is in another way.
They're representing the people.
Got to take their bribes away, and then then they'll be servants that serve at the will of the American people again. And all of the things that you think the government is, Michael, will actually be true. So I hope to get back to that. But as of for
That
now,
comment
they're low
that
down,
comment
dirty,
that you have on the screen
they should be
doesn't
drawn
make
to
no
court
damn
and
sense,
incarcerated. What you say?
Tommy. That comment you just have on your screen, that does not make one bit of sense. Whoever this Willie Bragg guy is,
He's
I
a big
am
deal,
neither
bro.
for
Willie
big
Bragg's a big
government
deal.
nor small government, but only accountable government. Okay, so to kind of clarify that, Willie Bragg, if you're for accountable government, right? If you want your government to be accountable,
I
okay,
do.
it doesn't matter if they are big or small, right? If they're small, they still have to be accountable, right? If they're big, they still have to be accountable. So I don't understand
But
where
they
he's
don't.
going.
Who's going to hold them accountable? You? The media won't.
The people are going to hold them accountable.
I agree. That's what I'm doing right now.
That's what it
And
was
so,
designed for.
so we will. So we will.
We were designed to hold them accountable. If they're not duly representing us accurately, then they need to be removed from office. That's why we have impeachment hearings.
We were designed to make a more perfect union and promote the general welfare, not them. They're our servants. They serve at our pleasure. And so that's my final word. Michael, where's your final word? What do you have to say to the audience today?
My final word is that I think we need to stop putting in the hate, the negative, divisive commentating, whether they're on podcasting or talk radio or social media. I think that half of the stuff that's in America now, right? Let me rephrase that. I'm a little tired. I've been driving for 5 hours. I'm exhausted. What I believe is I think half of the stuff that gets brought up in America is sometimes neurotic, and I think we should be focusing on more important things like trying to create a better economy for our country, not only for our current era right now of a society, but for our future youth. Right? I think we should cut this woke ideology crap out because it's not benefiting America whatsoever. It's just putting us back even further. It's setting us back in the history books. It's not. I don't understand how it's beneficial. I really don't. I mean, if you want to put on 15 colored different types of shades of hair on your top of your head, be my guest. But don't expect your neighbor.
These are the issues you want to talk about.
Don't no. Well, hold on. But if you want to do that, by all means, go ahead. But don't expect your neighbor to follow along with the Kool-Aid effect too with you. Because if they don't want to go along with that, that's their business. But stop pushing it in.
Liberty, 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 liberty. See, I can do that. I can do that insurance commercial. Auditioning for that. Guys, you better get to Charleston safe, bro, and save me a barbecue rib.
I'm just about there. I got 2 hours to go.
God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Guys, be free thinking, innovative, open-minded. Thanks for catching the podcast tonight. I will be on Willie Bragg's show tomorrow. Check that out. We're going to talk about holding government accountable probably now. But also the TikTok ban. TikTok is a fascist platform. It should be shut down, and the people that are controlling it should be tarred and feathered and probably hung by the neck till they're dead. Just kidding, that was satire. Right? What do you think? You agree with me, Michael? TikTok?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I believe it's I believe the censorship over there is crazy. I'm back in TikTok jail right now because apparently you can't bring up COVID because they don't like that.
You can't bring up anything. It is the most fascist, most communist.
You can't use the word
gun. You're always
gun.
talking about communism, bro. You're always talking about communism.
You can't use guns. You got to say pew-pews. You can't say communism. You can't say bombs. You got to say fireworks. I feel like I'm 5 years old when I'm on that platform. It's ridiculous.
Michael, you finally met communism. How does it feel?
I've seen communism a long time ago. I just didn't get introduced to it.
All right, Michael. Take care, bro.